So this is the
Nah,
zero
we ain't.
fucks
I ain't
given
like that.
panel. So you are free to be yourself.
Nah,
You are,
it's
you don't have to hold nothing back.
you know
Don't have to hold nothing back here.
I don't think I got too much to hold back.
Hmm.
It's been good,
Hey,
and
Gerard.
hey, it's been he's been good. We've been good. Each day he's getting more and more uh relaxed, and so I just got home from work and I talked to him, and you know I I asked him, was he okay with me doing, going back online, because he was, I had a talk with him, and he told me that he didn't like his mom being on the app.
Hmm.
So I I did talk to him and I said, hey, you know, um, you got a lot of aunties online that wanna at least make sure you okay. And I said, if you don't want me to, I won't do it. But he gave me the okay. So just before I left out of the house to talk, I told him what I was doing, and he was like, "Okay, don't be long." I said, "Okay." He giving me demands already, so
Uh-oh.
he's good. He's good.
What's his favorite food to eat currently? What have you noticed that he has taken a liking to? Because we know that, and this ain't trying to bash Muriel, but we know she can't cook. So what is it that he likes to eat? Now that he's
um,
with you.
that's a hard one because we cook a lot. So that, I think, is a bit of a shocker for him right now, is that we cook. So I got this thing for Saturday, because I work Monday through Friday, and my schedule is pretty crazy. So Saturday is usually the good day for all of the boys to normally be at home, and my sons that don't live with me are usually over on Saturday too. So like Saturday, I cook like some pancakes, and just pancakes and sausage, just nothing crazy. And he was watching me. It was funny because he watched me the whole time. But he watches me every time I cook, and I think he was just like, "Yo, is he really actually cooking, or what is he doing?" But
Mm-hmm.
he, so far right now, he's liking everything. But he particularly told me he don't eat pork, so I'm like, "All right, that's cool," because I'm allergic to pork too. So I've always got like turkey sausage in the house and stuff like that. That's kind of cool too. So he's
Okay.
right now, he don't have anything particular that he liked, but he's been eating a lot and even asking for seconds. And
Oh,
so I take that as a good thing.
is he
Yes.
sick of pizza?
You say what?
Is he sick? Is he sick and tired of pizza?
So I went to the mall. So we went to the mall and we were shopping. And he's funny too, because I don't like large crowds of people. And so when we were in the mall, he was looking kind of upset and weirded out. And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, he's like, I'm ready. It's too many people in here. So, I'm all for that. I'm like, my nigga, I feel you. I don't like all these people. So I was like, let's get up out of here. And so before we left, he was like, I'm hungry. And I was like, all right, let's grab some food. And I was like, you want some pizza? And he looked at me and was like, nah, I don't want no pizza. So no, he is not eating pizza. But we wound up getting some smoothies, and I couldn't get him to take his mouth off of the straw. Uh, so he definitely likes smoothies, probably more than anything. Almost every day he's been here, he's had a smoothie because he likes smoothies. So I'd say that's one thing that he really likes.
Okay.
Okay. So how's he um adjusting as far as with his brothers? Or do you have a daughter as well?
I have no girls.
Okay,
I
okay.
believe God blessed me with all boys, and I love it. Nothing against girls. I wanted a girl. I had a situation, but I don't have any girls. But I love the boys. He's jumped right in. My boys are kind of man. I can't say this enough. He kind of fell right in because my boys is amazing. Um, we we moved to a smaller place so we could save money to buy a house. And so he would have to share a room with one of my sons.
Mhm.
And without me and my wife even saying anything, they start moving rooms and adjusting stuff so he can have a place to be. They decided which room he was going to be in, and they also decided that we're going to get a bunk bed so he can have room in the room and have his own space. So my boys are all for it. I do have another 8-year-old, and him and those two just was playing all weekend. I couldn't pull them apart. Um, and he's very competitive, so he's been talking junk with the boys all day. They just go back and forth. Um, and I love it. I love it. That's what the boys are supposed to do. They're very competitional. And I love it. They go at each other, all out of love. No, nothing crazy. Um, but he's jumped right in. Um, and I also want to say this too. He
Mhm.
has talked to his sister. He has talked to his sister and his brothers. Um, so I am trying to find a way to make sure that he keeps, in good contact with everybody.
Okay, so you say his sister as he spoke with Samaya.
He did. He talked to Samaya, he
Oh,
talked to
okay, okay.
Jeremiah, and he talked to Israel. He talked to him. Uh and that was a good time for him because they just laughed and joked, and what I'm saying, they just it's almost like, I mean, I don't want to be harsh when I say this, but it's
Mhm.
almost like they're not caring as much at this point. They're just happy, from
Oh,
the
wow.
conversation on the phone. And he wanted, like, I don't care if he's on speakerphone, but he likes to put the phone on speakerphone and keep doing stuff. So, really did get to hear them just, have fun, talk to each other. It wasn't no screaming. It was just talking.
Mhm.
Which is different because when I watched a few videos, all they did was yell at each other. It wasn't like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like since they're in a different environment, the the attitudes, them being mean to each other, that's not going on right now.
Yeah, it's different. It's not what it's not what I saw. But he kind of helped me understand certain things too about that situation. So I understand why it's not what it seemed. Reality towards what's happening now, you know. So
Um,
he go ahead.
no, I was waiting. I'm sorry. I just I keep seeing a lot of people in the comments. They want to bless you. And I can't say the words, so I'm gonna just say razzle dazzle. People want to be able to, razzle dazzle to kind of help with those bunk beds. Could you inbox either myself or Ty your razzle dazzle, and then we can kind of put that out for you, so that you can
So
probably get a
so
bit of help with
I am
dazzle.
going to put together a wish list, and I will do that. Again, I wasn't at first, because I was like, I'm fine, and it's I can figure out things. But I do know this. It's a lot of people that like him. There's a lot of
Yes.
people that like him, and there's a lot of people that rallied behind him. So I'm gonna make sure that I put something out there, so you can, show him some love. The rest of us don't really need much. We don't. I think
Mhm.
we're pretty solid, but I think he would appreciate it.
Okay. Okay.
Has he tried to
So
reach out to y'all? Has he
You said
spoken
what?
with her? Has he spoken with his mother, or has she tried to reach out to him at all? I'm gonna shut up, Ty. I want to know.
No, you good. You good. It's very little I will talk about the case, right? But
Okay.
as of right now, that's something I will be comfortable with talking about. Because I don't want her to look like I don't want her to come off a certain way. As of right now, that situation is complicated, and she
Okay.
may not be able to speak to them at the moment. So it's not that she probably doesn't want to. It's that they gave her some words that she may want to pause for a minute before she deals with them. It's a and that's another thing. The situation is a little more complicated than just, the app. Um, and so as of right now, he hasn't. I personally reached out to her on here, and I told her that Hezekiah is okay, everything is good, and that he loves her. She didn't respond back to me, but I did want to at least put that out there on my own, not, allowing him to talk to her at the moment, because I don't want her to get in trouble.
Right. Right. So she hasn't responded basically to
N-
your message.
No, but if I know anything about her, from
Hmm.
what I've known about her in the past, is when things get rough, she has a thing of pretending like things don't exist.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty sure she's going through some stuff that we probably don't see.
Okay, and before I ask you this next question, do you care if, or do you mind if I have Hezekiah as my thumbnail while we speak with you? I'll take it down, and if it's not okay, I won't do it at all.
Don't don't do it, because again,
Oh,
I
got you,
think
got you,
that
got you.
certain things may get her in trouble. And that's
Right,
not
and
what
and
I'm
that's what
what I
I,
want to do.
because when you sent me the picture, I didn't, show anybody, and I didn't want to
Yeah,
show nobody online, and I was
yeah,
just making sure because
yeah,
I just felt like that would have been inappropriate,
yeah.
to show the
I don't
pictures
be
of Hezekiah.
Yeah, because I think it won't get me in trouble, but it may get her in trouble. And I
Right,
still have to be conscious of her because she's his mother. And
got you.
through the conversations I had with him, he loves his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Does he agree with everything? Nah, he a smart kid. He don't agree with things. And even some of the things that grown adults have said, he said. And I'm blown away by his maturity. But in the situation that he was in, he had no choice but to grow up. I mean, you look at her daughter, she had to grow up. I mean, she
Mm-hmm.
basically became a mom. You look at Jeremiah. As much as angry as he is, he's angry because he's forced to be an adult in a kid situation. All of those kids were forced to be older than what they were. So I don't really fault them for a lot of stuff that they go through. It's just that they
Right.
were they were forced to be older in situations where they don't have responsibilities of being somebody that's older. That's like one of us. That's like one of us paying, somebody restricting us from something, and we grown adults,
Mm-hmm.
we gonna have a problem with it. That's how I think their mindset is kind of.
Okay. Okay. So, as far as of like, I know like people have seen, a lot of lives when, the kids were basically like returning the same energy that she gave them when it came to, cussing and, talking like, like kids not supposed to talk. And
Hmm.
so have you had any trouble with, Hezekiah's, mouth, or, anything like
Um,
that?
no, no. So with one thing with me having boys, you set boundaries. That's
Right.
already from day one. It was set boundaries. I didn't scare them
Mhm.
with the boundaries. I was just like, yo. Actually, our first conversation with certain things was like, yo, I know this is a tough situation. And like I told him, I was like, listen, you don't have to call me dad. I said,
Mhm.
just can't cuss me out. You can't curse. So if you feel like you want to curse, don't say it. Use other words. So I already
Mhm.
established that, yo, even when you frustrated, don't say certain things. Um,
Mhm.
but I'm okay with saying this. He talked to me, and one of the things that he said to me is he didn't like her being online. And he said to me, certain things. And then he said that, you know, then, because she wouldn't stop. we just started doing whatever we wanted to when she was online. Like it was
Mhm.
almost like that was their defense mechanism for making her either get offline or, you know what I'm saying, pay attention to them, was to act crazy and do something stupid. That ain't the kids that I saw online is not the kids that I met that day. When I went to go pick them up, all of the kids were there and they were pleasant. You know what I'm saying? They did say hi to me. Um, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I had a couple feelings about certain things because you can't be telling my son you ain't got no daddy and I ain't gonna have no attitude. So
Well,
I had a little bit of attitude. I had a little bit of
I'm
attitude when I
happy
went
you
in.
brought that up. I'm happy you brought that
I
up.
I had an attitude when
So
I went
that
in,
that
but
leads to the question I guess I want to know the most. How does he feel now knowing, and has he expressed how he feels now knowing that he has a dad? Because we've heard
oh,
us say that he told him that you were
so let me
deceased.
say this. Let me finish that and I will tell you because um when when I got there and I was like, hey, I'm coming to pick up Hezekiah, of course they don't know how I look. So they're like, who is this dude? And so when I told him I was here to pick up Hezekiah, I'm his dad, Hezekiah looked at me and started smiling. So I'm like, okay, that's good sign. Then he went to go say bye to his brothers and sisters and he was like, all right, I'm about to go. My dad is here. And then so they came out and they was like, your dad. And so they did say hi to me. They were very polite. Um, and then he was like, yep, we gotta go. And he just bolted for the door. He was ready to go. So I was
Oh
like,
wow.
all right, I'll follow you out then. So I actually
Oh.
followed him out. He was really ready to go, but Cooper already told me prior to all of this that your son is really ready to see you. He said, I'm telling you, he really ready to see you. And when I got there in that moment, when I seen him, like he was happy. He was like, yo, let's go. I, it kind of picked up my spirit too, and he was ready to go.
Mm.
Um, so it was one of those things. I couldn't hug him, I couldn't anything because he was ready to go. He didn't give me the opportunity to do any of that. He was ready to go out the door. Um, and but we were able to later on that day talk, and I was able to hug him and before I put him to sleep, of course, kiss him on his forehead and tell him I love him. We haven't really had the conversation about, we haven't conversated about, everything and yet, but we have sporadic conversations. And one thing I told him, my son told me, don't treat him like he doesn't know what's going on. My 17-year-old, he, I raised him and, without his mom. And so he's been kind of coaching me through this, and he's like, don't treat him like he doesn't know. So when I talked to him, I was like, hey, I know this is a tough situation. I said, and I know I haven't been there, but I was like, hey, we'll figure all of this out together. And I said, I know I wasn't there, but from this point on, you'll always have me there. And I said, and I know my words may not reach you right now. I said, so I'll act on them. And I said, and I asked him, do you understand what I mean? And he said, he looked at me and he was like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So he understood that, what I was saying to him, and I'm gonna be there for him. And like I told him, I got your back, through everything from this point on. Forgive me for what has happened. I got you from this point on.
Mm. That is so.
And
Oh
we
my
had
God, that just feels my heart.
Yeah. And listen, I said this the other day. He is he is still his mother is still Muriel.
Mhm.
He is not going to hold back his words. He when he say something, he says it. He ain't shy of talking. That's the one thing I
Mhm.
will say. Like his mom, he's not shy of talking. So with him not being shy of talking, I think it also makes things a little easier too, because I'm not forcing him to talk. I ask him a question. You want to answer it. You don't want to answer it, and if he wants to answer it, he will. he hasn't really not answered anything so far. But I'm also not going to grill him about what happened in the house, what was going on. I don't. I he's with me now. I don't, it's not that I can care less, but
Hmm.
I don't want to traumatize him any more than he has been from whatever he has went
Right.
through. So I haven't questioned him about anything.
Okay. So if you want to like just address if you feel comfortable with addressing to the people as far as of the years, of you not being around Hezekiah up until now. Um do you want to explain the reason why, or just kind of like shorten it up as far as of
I
why
don't I don't I don't really think I don't really think it's anything I can
necessary?
explain about it.
Hmm.
You know, I wasn't there. It's more complicated than she makes it out to be. It wasn't
Right.
so for her, she put it out as I didn't try.
Hmm.
And I didn't feel like it was a need for me to explain myself to anybody um that really wasn't trying to hear it. She explained to it for 8 years. I didn't try. I did
Right.
try. I
Yeah,
did
you
try.
did more
There
than
were
what you was
there
supposed
were
to, but go ahead.
yeah,
Hmm.
I paid child support. So there
Right.
had to be a point where me and her went to court, right?
Hmm.
So there was times when I would try to see him and she would give me an address, and then it was an old address. It was times when I went to go see her. I tried to go and see her, and it was a gate. The gate, I couldn't get through, and I called the gate, called her, and they wouldn't let me through the gate. There were times where she was living in one city. I finally got information from the court where she lived, and I know I shouldn't be just popping up, but I decided that I was going to try to pop up. And then she wasn't living there anymore. Her situation has always been constant moving, moving, moving. So at some point, and when I would address certain things, she would get uglier and meaner and meaner. And so one of the things that I didn't want to do is create a situation where she would be going at my kid, because she was angry and
Hmm.
frustrated at me. So I felt like it was, to back up.
Right.
And I did a lot of praying.
Hmm.
I did a lot of praying, and a lot of times when you do a lot of praying, you got to be patient. um and even, and I had to be a lot patient, and I had to be prayerful. And I may have not handled it the best way I should have, or the best
Hmm.
way I could have. But I was doing what I thought was best. And
Right.
again, as parents, how many times have we did something that we thought was best and it really wasn't? It's
Right.
just mine just was noticeable. Sometimes as parents, it's not always noticeable. Mine was noticeable, and I can't take those 8 years back. But what I can do is figure out how at this point I can make things better for him,
Right.
and going forward. But I made a mistake. For guys who haven't been there, listen,
Hmm.
my stepson, his dad wasn't around for a while. And one thing I
Hmm.
told him is, until the day your dad died, you can have a relationship with him. So guys who in situations like, with me, who aren't dealing with their kids, find a way
Hmm.
to deal with them. It's not too late. If you don't know how to approach it, somebody said it on here. You
Hmm.
better be prayerful. Pray to God to see how to deal with it, because I didn't
Yes.
know what to do. I didn't understand what I would do. I was nervous the whole time going to pick him up. I didn't
Hmm.
you know I was nervous. You know, I didn't know what to say to him. I didn't know how to say it to him. And for a lot of men, when we don't know how to do something, it's easiest for us to just, go to a cubby hole. And
Right.
um and that's kind of, I'm an engineer. That's kind of the thing we do. We go into a corner and we figure out the solution in the problem. The problem is I'm an engineer. That's my title. That's not, I'm a dad. Those two worlds should be separate. And I think I was combining those two together when I was dealing with this situation. So I had to, I had to mature up, about some things. And and my other sons had some things to say to me about it too. You know what I'm saying? I listened to my other
Right.
boys talk to me about it too. Like, yo, dad, nah, if that's our brother, go and get him.
I know that's right.
If that's
I
if
know that's
that's
right.
if that's if he belonged to one of us, go and get him. And that's how it was.
And that's how it's supposed to be. And that's why I said, like, Hezekiah, that was my favorite. And it's like, I'm trying to, keep the onion from away from my eyes right now. Just bear with me because I'm
Yeah.
just like so happy. And when you sent me those pictures, a couple days ago, I screamed like, "My baby
he
is looking so
and
good."